Hello, I'm Game Retainer, and in this video I'll be going over a handful of interesting locations that you should visit in 7 Days to Die. I'm not going to be putting coordinates on the screen for this one, only because a lot of these POIs have only found on random gen worlds, and also some of the current maps seem to be changing and disappearing, so I don't want to put anything out now that's going to be invalid in a couple of weeks. So instead, what I'll do is I will put the name of the POI at the top of the screen and the difficulty or tier of POI at the bottom. But with that said, let's jump straight in. Up first, we've got a very small POI, but as you can see, it is pretty cool and rather unique. This is Robin's Outpost. There isn't a lot here, it is a tier 0 POI, but just structurally, it looks pretty cool. This looks like it was some sort of observation outpost, and while there's really not a lot here, it is a very well thought out POI, at least in my opinion anyway. The Fun Pimps really do enjoy creating POIs that are based on religion, and this is one of those. This is Congregation of Blind Faith, and it's a tier 2 POI. As you can see, it's really flat. So if you are looking for a place to build that's easy to clear, there's not a lot of buildings to break down, and is nice and flat, then this is a really nice option. It does come with its own welcome sign. It also has a few less than welcoming signs as well. Making your way inside, you will come into what is essentially a makeshift church. It is a cool one to explore. It is a little creepy, but you know, 7 Days to Die, you should come to expect that. While it is a tier 2 and the loot's not fantastic, it is pretty easy to get to. Just make your way in through the front and break this door, or hop over, or just do whatever. It's here. It's right in this room. Next up is a very morbid one. This is Silent Shack. It's a tier 0 POI, and it's just very dark. It's very small, there's not a lot here in terms of loot, but if you make your way inside, there is there's a guy hanging up there. Now, I might just be reading into this too much, but it looks like this guy may have died before the zombie outbreak. The reason why I say this is 1, the TV in the background is still on, and 2, if you make your way outside, you'll see a newspaper that was delivered but nobody picked it up. While there's no real way of telling for sure, I do like the game's storytelling, I say it in every video, and it does look like this guy was murdered pre-apocalypse. This is Lone Wolf Set. It's a tier 0 POI, so there isn't a lot of loot here, but if you are an observant person, then you may have seen this poster inside various POIs. I think this is one of the sets that was supposed to be in this movie, that was obviously never finished because the apocalypse got in the way. It's not often that you get to encounter a movie set during a zombie apocalypse, so it's a change. These posters are everywhere, they're stacked on the floor, they're on the walls. I'm assuming he was an actor, who knows. While it's not the biggest POI, it is definitely an interesting one. Up next we have the Rejekts gang outpost. From a distance, you'd be forgiven for thinking this is a trader settlement because it does look like one. Whether it used to be or maybe it was made to look like one, who knows. There are a few people hanging out front, which is not very welcoming in all honesty. There is some nice flat land inside, and if you are an avid builder, then this could be a pretty good one to call home. As you can see, it does have all of the typical things that you'd find in a trader settlement, with the forge, workbench, and all those broken down things that you can loot for some lovely materials. Making your way inside, there are plenty of shelves to loot. You're not going to find a lot, especially in the rotten produce section, but there we are. There is also a vending machine in here, which does have a chance to work. If it does work, then all the more reason to make a base here. That's because it's very nice to have a vending machine in your base. Directly behind the cash register and up the ladders, you will find the main loot. It's tier 3 loot, so it's not bad, but obviously it's not the best. The spikes around the outside are also nice if you are looking to take this one over as a base, because it'll save you some resources. However, they are not nice if you're like me and you accidentally walk into them a lot. But whether you're looking for a base location or just a place to clear out, the Rejekts gang outpost is a really interesting one to explore. This next one really lives up to its name. This is Crumblemoor Catacombs, or Catacombs, depends how you want to pronounce it. It's a tier 0 POI, and the majority of the floors just collapse when you stand on them, so keep that in mind. If you just want to come here and pay your respects, then you may get more than you bargained for, as most of the flooring just breaks away when you stand on it. The underground section isn't huge, but it is quite maze-like, so it's strangely easy to get a bit turned around and lost inside this one. But even as you're walking through underneath, as you can see, just the whole thing is falling apart. I'll just show you from under the map. This is the core structure, so it's not huge, but then again, it's not tiny either. I don't know if I was just unlucky, but it took me a very long time to find this one. I went on quite a few worlds that didn't have this POI on it. This is the satellite crash site, and while it's just a tier 0 POI, it is pretty unique. Unfortunately, the craft is not big enough for you to get inside. However, when you get close enough to it, you'll hear some electrical charges, and something interesting happens. As you saw then, some kind of explosive went off and it opened this little hatch, which revealed some meds. Now, why you would send meds up to space in an unmanned satellite, I don't know, but there we are. Next on the list, we have Fortified Farm. This is a tier 3 POI, and as you can see, it is pretty big and nice and flat. There's a few crops here, so if you are into farming, then it may be worth paying this one a visit. But putting that aside, looking at the POI as a whole, this looks like it was some kind of survivor's base until things went bad and the undead got inside. Making your way through, you will see a shooting range, some sort of makeshift hospital, and what looked like some sort of central hub where the survivors would gather, possibly. Since it's a tier 3 POI, the loot is okay. If you make your way into the barn and to the back, you'll find it right there. One last thing about this one is there's a really strange mannequin next to a bathtub around the back. I don't know why it's here, but if you want it, it's there. So thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you found it interesting. I would like to give a quick shout out to the Boom Boom Room podcast for having me on for the second time to talk about 7 Days to Die. I will put a link in the description below for that. Once again, thank you very much for watching, and hopefully I'll catch you in the next one.